Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome yet again to another episode of Dinner Guide. My name is Chef Andy, and as usual I'm here to bring you some very handy tools. We on this particular season are going to be focusing on two particular benchmarks to this particular dishes. First of all being nutrition, and second of all being cost. So without further ado, I'll start off by introducing the ingredients and just tell you more about the dish we'll be doing today. So from the front, I've got some salt, some cumin powder, some jeera powder, and some dried parsley. I've also got some lemons there, a bit of tomato paste, some red onions. I've also got some pre-cooked lentils and some pre-cooked githeri, which is just maize and beans. I've also got some soy milk, some potatoes there, a bit of some ripe papaya, some beautiful carrots there, and last but not least, some very beautiful coconut water. So without further ado, we are going to jump into a short break, and when we come back, we're going to go straight into this very simple and amazing dish. Remember, we are going to be working on a very beautiful githeri that is vegetarian, and we're also going to be making a belly Soother smoothie. So this is just something to soothe your belly, especially for those days that you're having a bit of indigestion. This is definitely for you, so you don't want to miss out. We're going to slide into a commercial break, so see you after a short one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are just catching up with us or just catching up with the show, remember we are on a very beautiful trip around some beautiful, nutritious and cost-effective dishes for this particular month of January. And as I said on the previous episode and on the many episodes that we're going to be covering this particular season, we're all about nutrition, we're all about cost, and we're all about simplicity. So for this particular dish, this is actually a very simple one, and I'm sure most of you will enjoy. So I'm just going to start off by heating up a pot on the side there. So we're going to start off very simple with a very simple vegetarian githeri. So I'm just going to grab a knife, and for this particular one, remember we are going with a bit of creativity, we are going with a bit of influence with a whole lot of other spices and ingredients that we're working with today. But for this particular one, I'm sure most of you are definitely going to enjoy. So we're going to start off by chopping up our red onion. So we're just going to start off by chopping that into very small sizes. And I will do the same with the second half. All right, so very simple. What you're looking for is just a rough chop, nothing fancy. Right, so very easily we're gonna add those into our pot on the side. Remember, we're going to just cook the onions for just until we get to a point where they're just starting to turn translucent. Right, so easy as pie. Next step, we're going to just cut some carrots, and we're going to cube this into some very small sizes. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So first of all, going to julienne those really quickly. Right, and we'll just do the same with another piece of carrots. So as I said, very particularly for this dish, we're just going to be a little more creative with our cuts. And as I said, it being a vegetarian dish, remember the whole concept behind vegetarian is not about having a very boring plate in front of you, but it's rather having one that shows a bit of creativity with your styles of chopping, with your different textures and your colors. So that is particularly the best part of doing any vegetarian dish. Right, so our onions are nice and fragrant. We're just going to go in and add some of our dry ingredients at the front there. So as I mentioned, I have some dried parsley. I've also got some dried cumin and some curry powder. Right, so just going to give that a quick mixture. And basically you should get to a point where your pan is almost smoking and you can really just get that cumin coming through. Once you get to that stage, then it's about time to go in with your potatoes. So I'm just going to add one chopped up potato and just a bit of the water from there. We're just going to give that a quick mixture. And to that, we'll also be adding our julienne carrots. And we can turn up the heat a little bit. And basically, all you want to do is just give that a mix. And then add just a bit more water. Remember, the water should actually help you try and soften those potatoes and those carrots. But to be able to do that, we will actually have to put a lid on the pot and give that a few minutes. But while that continues, we are going to continue with something else on the side here. Remember, we also mentioned a berry Soother smoothie, a very, very simple concept, by the way. And with that, I will just grab my jug here. So very, very simple, particular smoothie. Very healthy as well, a very, very good cleanser for your stomach. And I will start off by just chopping some lemons in half. I'm just going to set those here and have them ready for later. And then second of all, we are going to grab some of that beautiful papaya and a spoon. And we're just going to scoop out the flesh of the fruit into our jug. So very, very good option, particularly papaya, very good for your skin, very good as a deoxidant, and is actually very, very good and handy for your bowel movements. So we're going to be using about 60 grams of papaya fruit. And remember, this is just always a little healthier and a little better to use freshest. So I always insist, if you're going to be making a smoothie similar to mine, it's always very, very important that you get the very best and freshest papaya you can find. Remember, especially if you're making smoothies that have any relevance to detoxing, the main agenda with a detox is definitely freshness. So you always want to make sure you pick your best ingredient. Right, so to that I will add some soy milk. I will also add some of this beautiful coconut water. And we're just going to move that up here to the blender and we're gonna just juice that a little bit. Right, so we're basically going to set that aside and we're just going to come back to it a little later. So we're just going to leave all this on the sides. And now I'll just bring your attention back to this side. So remember, we've had our potatoes and our carrots now cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes. They're now just starting to really get a little softer. Now this is probably the best point that I will insist you add your githeri. Remember, this has been pre-cooked, but it's not fully cooked. It is a very good stage to actually add them, because this is basically where you get to a point where your potatoes are just about to start, they're just about softening, your carrots are now soft, and the juliennes are really looking nice in there. So all you're left to do now is incorporate your parboiled githeri and about half a cup of those cooked lentils. And last but not least, about 2 teaspoons of tomato paste. And all you want to do now is just mix that through. Right, so just always just give it a mixture, or rather mix it through really well, just to be able to make sure that most of your ingredients are incorporated. Make sure that tomato paste actually coats most of the ingredients in your pot. And now to that, we're just left to add just a bit of water to allow it to steam down and just get all the ingredients cooked completely. And to that, we add just about half a cup of water, mix that through really nicely, and then add about a teaspoon of salt. Mix that through once more. And all we are left to do now is just cover that, drop the temperature slightly, and just allow that to come to the boil. Give your liquid a bit of time to heat up. Allow your ingredients to really cook through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid off, and we're going to allow it to just dehydrate a little later. But before we get to that step, we are going to take a short commercial break. We're going to refresh our station, and when we do come back, we are going to take our lid off. We're going to look at what our githeri looks like, and we're just going to finish off the show by me showing you some techniques of pouring out some smoothie, and give you also some bit of variations of ingredients you can incorporate to your recipe if, of course, you don't have most of or all of the ingredients that we had on the show today. So do not touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who were with us just before we took a break, we were just finishing off this beautiful dish, and this is now ready. We're just going to turn the heat off, give that a few seconds. Now, just to bring your attention back this way, remember we were doing a smoothie just before we took the break, and we're just going to finish this off quickly. And we'll need just a few kitchen utensils to get that done. So very simple, we're going to use some lemon juice. So I'm going to squeeze the juice of one whole lemon. Simple as that. So we're basically just going to squeeze about just one lemon. Just get all the juice out. I'm using a strainer just to help me to get the seeds out. But if you do have any other kind of device or utensil that you can use to just squeeze your juice out, like your typical lemon squeezers at home, also works really well. Right, so very simply add the lemon juice to your smoothie. And we'll just blitz that just a little bit. Right, simple as that. Now I'm just going to quickly just dash off and just grab a straw. I particularly like to serve my smoothies just like that. And just to garnish that, we're just going to take a nice lemon slice there. And what you want to do is just pull as much seeds as you can with your knife. And then just make an incision almost halfway into the lemon. And now all you're left to do is just to finish off your smoothie by pouring it into your nice tall highball glass. And then last but not least, a bit of garnish, a bit of a straw, and there you go, your belly smoother. It's easy as that. And now just to finish that off, just grab a little there, and we're just going to scoop this into one of my bowls here. I particularly like to serve my vegetarian dish in here because remember, there's nothing else accompanying the dish. So this is more of a one pot style of cooking. It should actually just go into an easier method of plating, which would be a bowl such as the one I'm using. And just easily scoop all that in there. And ladies and gentlemen, simple as that. So here we have a very, very simple fried githeri with some julienne carrots. And we are going to be serving that, or rather I would love to serve that with a belly smoother. Particularly this very, very simple to make smoothie is very, very good. As I said, very good detox properties, especially from your papayas, and a very, very good addition with the coconut, which just really just works its way into your tummy really well, and it just does the best when it comes to cleansing. And a very, very simple githeri there. For those of you who are just catching up with us, what we added in there was a bit of lentil, a bit of pre-cooked githeri, a bit of some herbs, some seasoning, and last but not least, the julienne carrots, which you can actually be able to see very well from the cameras there. So I hope you've had a very, very enjoyable time with us today. I hope you have learned something on this very, very beautiful segment of Dinner Guide. My name is Chef Andy, and as I said earlier, it has been a pleasure being with you, and it will be a pleasure being with you for many other episodes where I continue to bring you something very simple, something you can just turn out and do in your very own kitchen. So from the studios and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and until the next episode, have a lovely evening, enjoy your dinner this evening, and see you soon. Goodbye and have a lovely, lovely night.